The Big Apple. New York City is one of the world's most impressive urban epicenter, but anyone who's lived there or even just visited knows it can be a pretty expensive place to explore. So if you're planning on visiting this bustling metropolis on a budget, you might be looking for a few affordable activities to keep you and your family happy and occupied. Sure, it doesn't cost anything to roam around the streets, but you're probably going to want to check out some of the world-class attractions. New York City has no shortage of top-tier museums. Fortunately, you don't always have to spend a fortune visiting them. In this video, we've compiled a list of free or donation-based New York City museums. So, let's go ahead. American Folk Art Museum. This museum features a permanent collection that showcases textiles, paintings, crafts, and sculptures made by well-known artists and self-taught outsider artists. Some famous pieces included in their collection include an 18th century Tree of Life motif whitework bed cover and a painting called Girl in Red Dress with Cat and Dog, produced by the 19th century American nomadic painter Amy Phillips. At the moment, there's also a temporary exhibit on display featuring weather vanes constructed during the 18th to 20th centuries. They also have another featured exhibit in the works of famed self-taught artists. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Viewcation if you haven't already. And keep watching to learn about more free and pay-what-you-can museums in New York City. MoMA PS1. Free for New York City residents and pay what you wish for everyone else, this Queen-based museum was first founded in 1971 with the goal of transforming abandoned buildings in New York City into art centers. In 2000, MoMA PS1 joined forces with Manhattan's world-renowned Museum of Modern Art to become one of the nation's largest modern art museums. The exhibits change pretty often, but they typically focus predominantly on experimental and installation art. One of the current special exhibitions showcases the works of Niki de Saint Phalle, an artist known for her overtly feminist and performative artwork. If you plan to visit anytime soon and like hands-on activities, be sure to visit its courtyard, which now features participatory installation art that explores the themes of land use, urban space, and ecology. American Museum of Natural History. Founded in 1869, this sprawling pay-what-you-can museum is one of the premier science and educational institutions in the nation. One can easily spend their entire day here. The museum's collection features 34 million specimens of plants, fossils, animals, minerals, and human cultural artifacts. After being closed for 4 years, the museum's newly redesigned Gems and Minerals exhibit features an impressive collection of precious and semi-precious stones, minerals, and jewelry from all over the planet. Bronx Museum of Arts. This museum opened in the early 70s with the admirable goal of bringing art to the Bronx. It has since become one of the most progressive and well-curated museums in the city. The Bronx Museum of Arts collection features both contemporary and 20th century works by esteemed American artists. It also hosts exhibitions featuring modern art from various other regions of the world. Currently, the museum is celebrating its 50-year dedication to social justice with a new solo exhibit that features the works of Harlem-based artist Wardell Milan. Museum of the City of New York. This museum is committed to preserving New York City's rich history and has a pretty remarkable collection of historic artifacts, photos, drawings, documents, and so much more to see and experience. Kids will enjoy the educational programs as well. As of right now, the museum has several temporary exhibits, including one that takes a look at the diverse history of New York's quirkiest residents, puppets that have traveled with migrant communities from across the globe as they made their way to the city. El Museo del Barrio. Located at the northern end of Fifth Avenue's Museum Mile, this pay-what-you-can museum showcases the art and culture of Puerto Ricans and all Latin Americans in the U.S. It houses a collection of more than 8,000 artworks by Latin American, Caribbean, and Latinx artists spanning from pre-Columbian times to today. At the moment, it has a temporary exhibit that shines a light on the modern artworks of 40 Latino artists from across the country. National Museum of the American Indian, New York. This free museum features both historical and modern art pieces, as well as artifacts related to the Native Americans. The museum's collection is organized by geographic region and is a nice hybrid of ethnology, anthropology, art, and history. If you're looking to brush up on your history of the U.S.'s first occupants and the atrocities they had to go through throughout their storied history on this soil, then this museum is what you're looking for. Noguchi Museum. Isamu Noguchi, the Japanese-American artist and landscape architect, is perhaps best known for his abstract sculptures and akari lights, which are lamps made out of washi paper and bamboo that create a soft, warm glow. The museum is the brainchild and cumulative work of the artist himself. Here you can find a collection that features not only his world-famous lamps, but also his furniture, drawings, and sculptures. It's also worth noting that the atmosphere here is also tranquil, roomy, and contemplative. So if you're looking for a meditative environment to calm your mind, this might be the right museum for you. Queens County Farm Museum. Here we have another free museum that dates back to 1697. Queens County Farm currently sits on New York City's largest remaining undisturbed farmland. On this site, you can find historic buildings, a lush greenhouse, multiple livestock areas, an orchard, and various gardens where herbs, flowers, fruits, and vegetables grow. Not only does the museum represent the historical farm lifestyle, but it also does a great job of educating the public about topics ranging from biodiversity to climate change to nutrition. Queens Museum. At this free museum, you'll find a permanent exhibit that features a room-size scale model panorama of the city of New York, commissioned by the master builder Robert Moses in 1964 for that year's World Fair. The Queens Museum also has on display a relief map of New York City water system, as well as a pretty terrific exhibit of Tiffany glasses. Socrates Sculpture Park. This plot of land alongside the East River waterfront used to be an abandoned landfill and illegal dump site until the 80s, when it was turned into an open-air museum featuring a large-scale modern installation art and performance exhibit. One of the current exhibits on display, named Planeta Abuelix, makes use of recycled and found materials to creatively explore the themes of healing and recovery throughout Earth's history. It also serves as an homage to marginalized and vulnerable groups who lost their lives to the pandemic. Staten Island Museum. This hidden gem of a museum features natural science specimens, archival records, and works of art and design related to Staten Island. Even though the museum clearly is coming from a Staten Islander's perspective, visitors can still enjoy taking a closer look at American history and culture in the past 2 centuries. The Jewish Museum. Established in 1947, this free museum is unique for being both the first Jewish museum in the U.S. and the oldest existing Jewish museum in the world. It can be found on New York's famed Fifth Avenue Museum Mile, and over 30,000 objects, including artifacts of thousands of years of Jewish history, as well as contemporary pieces, are on display. A current exhibit, around until January 2022, highlights the stories of Jewish art that was stolen during World War II and only recently recovered. The Bushwick Collective. When we think about art and museums, our minds typically shoot to ornate, sprawling indoor galleries featuring the works of renowned and celebrated artist elites. But there's something to be said about less glamorous artwork and their creators as well. Even though this isn't an indoor museum, this area of street art and graffiti is a curated space that features the works of some of the most talented street artists on the planet. A free Bushwick Street art tour runs daily as well. Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture. Located in Harlem, this free museum is one of the world's top institutions dedicated to the preservation and exhibition of materials pertaining to African American and African culture, art, experiences, and contributions. They have over 10 million objects, artifacts, documents, recordings, art pieces, and more on display. The Schomburg Center is also a featured stop on numerous Harlem tours. So if you're already in the area checking out the sites, you'd be silly not to stop here for a few hours. Now it's time to hear from you. What do you think of the museums we featured? Did we miss one of your favorites? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Viewcation if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.